Hey guys, this is Mel. If you're listening to this, you are about to hear a super special sneak peek of our latest bonus episode, but fair warning, this is just a sneak peek, don't hurt us. It's totally optional to subscribe, but if you're interested, you can check out our Patreon by searching Significant Lovers Patreon online. Hope you enjoy.
Are you lonesome tonight? Do you miss me tonight? Are you sorry we drifted apart? Does your memory stray?
So by 1947, Ava had 2 failed marriages and a burgeoning career in Hollywood under her belt. She was 25 and as beautiful as ever. I know, 25 and divorced twice. She was 5'6", which is an inch shorter than Frank. Even though Frank was really skinny, and I feel like gave the feeling that he was tall, he was just average height.
How skinny was he?
He's pretty skinny. He's a pretty skinny looking lad.
I'm gonna look this up.
Especially when he was younger. I wouldn't look at like older Frank. Ava was known for her dark hair, wavy brunette hair, green eyes, fair skin. She had a dimpled chin, like she had a dimple in her chin, high sculpted cheekbones, and fashionably defined eyebrows. Whenever I look at pictures of her, my eyes go straight to her eyebrows. As for her personality, she was very, very similar to Frank. She was ladylike, but also earthy and unpretentious, humble to the point of insecurity. Like sometimes she would think poorly of herself or like think she was ugly even though she wasn't, probably from having all these poor husbands in the past. She's jealous, passionate, sexual, sensitive, hot-headed, reckless, spontaneous, attention-seeking, and also generous. And so this was the Ava, the older and somewhat wiser Ava, that Frank Sinatra met for the second time when they began living across from one another in the apartments.
Wow.
So like I said before, Frank was not faithful to his wife, so his marriage did not stop him from pursuing Ava the second time they became acquainted. And though her being married wouldn't have stopped him either, he was known to sleep with some married women as well, it was an added benefit that she was single at this point in time. Well, single generously. I think she was seeing a few men, but single in the old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
Frank knew Ava well enough, like I said, she lived across from him, and he would call out to her from his terrace. She was also once a cheerleader for his softball team that played in the Studio League, and I'll send you a picture of them. So this is before they ever got together, a picture of them in 1947. Cute. He had a softball league, the Sinatra Swooners.
Wow, that is cute. That girl.
Yeah.
He is a shorty.
So fun. Yeah, so he's technically an inch taller than her, but he looks shorter there. Maybe she's wearing heels. Yeah.
She probably has heels on, too.
Anyway, so it's 1947, and one day, Frank stopped Ava on the street between their apartments, as he had done a few times before. But this time, instead of a brief, casual chat, Frank asked Ava on a date. And according to Ava, he said, "Ava, let's be friends. Why don't we have a drink and dinner tonight?" And Ava said yes. Apparently, she told her assistant about it and said, "I know he's still married to Nancy, but that's broken up a long time ago." And her assistant, Renee, said, "Isn't he still dating Lana Turner?" And Ava replied, "Who isn't?" So it was kind of an open secret that Frank was dating around. It wasn't like everybody knew. Anyway, that night they went out for dinner and drinks, and afterward, Ava went back to his apartment where they apparently kissed. What?
Just kissed?
Yeah, just kissed apparently. In her memoirs, Ava said about that night that she was attracted to Frank, but for some reason everything felt cheap and wrong, and that the timing didn't feel right. She didn't feel as if they should romantically or sexually involve herself with Frank, so she didn't. And after that, Ava and Frank didn't see each other except for one particular run-in at MGM for 2 years, until 1949 when they met again at a Palm Springs resort. Apparently, according to Ava, Frank came up to her and said, "Good to see you again. It's been a long time. I suppose we were rushing things a little the last time we met." And Ava said, "You were rushing things a little." And he said, "Let's start again," and they did. That particular night, Ava and Frank got drunk and hopped into his car and drove to the town of Indo, California. Shout out. And bizarrely...
Drunk driving.
Yeah. I know, literally. And bizarrely, while they were there, no doubt under the influence, They used Frank's gun to shoot out some streetlights and even a few store windows.
Okay, such a bad idea.
I know.
They're wild and crazy.
Yeah, literally. No one was hurt, but both Ava and Frank were arrested and then eventually released. Okay. They didn't serve any jail time, but they did get in trouble.
They're so young, wild, and free. So
literally.
he's been arrested twice.
Yeah.
Bad boy.
I was gonna say this, but when bad boys in books or something, I feel like Frank is stereotypical book bad boy boyfriend.
Yeah.
And when people are talking about like, oh, I want a boy that challenges me, or it's like a little dangerous or like a little crazy, like they don't want something boring, I feel like Frank is what they're thinking of, or like a relationship with Frank, minus the infidelity, but like this kind of insane, like, let's just be wild.
Yeah.
Let's use your gun and shoot things.
Even if he is known to be a cheater, I think women think, like, well, I'll change him.
Yeah. Exactly. All Ava had to say about the night that they spent together, however, in her memoir, she said, "We drank, we laughed, we talked, and we fell in love." And not long after they both returned to Hollywood, Frank and Ava went out again for dinner. And during the date, Ava asked Frank about his relationship with his wife, Nancy. Frank told Ava that he had left Nancy physically, emotionally, and geographically, probably spending most of his time in his pussy palace, and that there was no way he was going to go back to her. Although he did say that he was dedicated to his kids, which by this point in time were 3 in total by now. And that they were a critical part of his life, which Ava admired. I will say, Frank did seem like a good dad. He did travel a lot for work, but he would always make phone calls, and they would come to his sets and things like that. And it seems like his kids really loved him. So I think there's that to say about Frank.
I don't trust that, though. I mean, I don't know what you're going to say next, but, like, I feel like you can't trust somebody when they say, like, yeah, I'm married, but, yeah, we're basically
because that's what they all say.
I know. Well, it's like, then why are you married?
I know. Later that night, after that dinner, once again, according to Ava in her memoir, they slept together for the first time. She said, "We became lovers forever, eternally." And Ava and Frank continued to date then after. They kept mostly low profile, at least the general public. They were an open secret in Hollywood.
All right, I will have to stop the episode right there. Thank you so much for listening to the teaser. If you want to hear the full episode and many other bonus episodes, you can find them on Patreon. You can search Significant Lovers on the website or download the Patreon app. It works a lot like regular podcast listening apps. And we have tons of other couples on Patreon to listen to. So thank you so much for listening and supporting the show, and we'll get back together next week.